League places. Manchester United need one more point to be playing Champions League football next season, but significantly after that result, so too do Chelsea. They kick off shortly at Anfield. They now need 1 point from their last two games to be in the top four. Leicester will find out a little bit more after what Chelsea's result is tonight. And that point, as if they needed it, but they can relax. West Ham mathematically safe in the Premier League. Job done for David Moyes and West Ham. And that, of course, after West Ham had gone in front in the first half. We still can't work out what Paul Pogba was doing here.
No, we talked, didn't we, at half-time? He just, concentration levels of Paul. He just put his arms up there. You know, it's a natural instinct, but it's something, if his mind would have been switched on, he wouldn't have done it. And I think that summed up Man United's performance through the whole game. I thought they looked a little bit off it, a little bit fatigued, not at the races. Antonio steps up here, slots it away, double figures in the Premier League for the first time. He's settled in really well to his position as a striker now, and he's learning the game still at his late age, and you know, he's having a great time.
A reaction, but not enough of one to win the game from Manchester United.
No, but you know, I think it's probably as important not to lose it than to go and risk everything. A point is not bad. They were only going to need to draw against Leicester anyway if they had gone and scored again. So it was an important point. In fact, I think with 10 minutes to go, both managers could have shook each other's hands and said, "Do you want to take a point now?" They probably would have. But as you mentioned, Steve, really significant for Chelsea because that means that they only need a point now. But no, it wasn't the best of games. I thought there'd be more goals in it for starters. But West Ham came with a real game plan. They stuck tight. And of course, you don't blame them. They only needed a point.
And Mason Greenwood, 10 Premier League goals now as a teenager, an 18-year-old. And you tell you what, you've got to be good to be top of that particular record tree. With 18, one Michael.
Kick on from there and didn't really create a chance after that, to be fair, which is hugely disappointing. We look tired. We're at the stage of the season now where we've got to keep going. Leicester on Sunday is huge. We know a draw is good enough for us, but I just felt that listen, there's no easy games now, but we're at home to West Ham. Disappointed that we didn't pick up 3 points.
I guess the real winners tonight are Chelsea, because they play Liverpool, but they know that just a point from their last two games means they're in the Champions League. So really, it does look like a straight knockout between us and Leicester. Which
is why I wanted to win tonight, because even if we win tonight, the head-to-head with Leicester would mean that we still have to go and get a draw against them. But it just would have made Chelsea more honest. Yeah, they go into, if they lose the game later to Liverpool, go into Wolves at home. I think just needing a draw makes a big difference. But we got to concentrate on ourselves, got to move ahead. I'm sure Ollie will look at that. Never got into our free-flowing style. There was periods in the game where we looked like we could create something, but it didn't really materialise, and we were just a bit sloppy in our passing, a bit slow in our passing, and I think that's probably down to tiredness more than anything else.
Yeah, so the final day of the season, huge for both ourselves, for Leicester, and for Chelsea as well, and Wolves still trying to get into Europe. So it's going to be a fascinating end to the season, as we expected. Okay, let's get the post-match thoughts of our commentators, Ben Thornley and Stuart Gardner.
So United move into the top four with just one game to go. They haven't been there since September, so good timing, but their fate is going to be decided at Leicester on Sunday afternoon. Mikel Antonio giving West Ham a lead here with a penalty right on the stroke of half-time. Handball in the area from Paul Pogba. VAR picked it up. Penalty kick. United did roar back in the second half. A great finish. Mason Greenwood, a lovely link-up play involving Anthony Martial. Got his 17th goal of the season. No teenager has ever scored more in a single season for Manchester United. But they couldn't find a way past a very resolute West Ham side, and indeed, credit to De Gea for making a fabulous save from Bowen. I think a draw was actually probably fair, wasn't it, Ben, in the end? Again, a little bit like when we were here the other week against Southampton. I think that the way West Ham set the stall out, I thought they defended extremely well. They were very well organised. They actually played some good football in the middle of the park with Noble and with the very impressive Declan Rice, it had to be said. And from,
a couple of occasions they did bring out some decent saves from David De Gea, most notably the one you've just mentioned from Jared Bowen. That was because United got into the stage where they were giving the ball away, they were playing square passes that were being cut out, they were playing passes that were being read easily by the West Ham players. But the one little bit of brilliant football United did play resulted in the goal, and we've got to take the positives out of it. From where we were back in January, we're still in with a shout, and it was a really, really good goal, and we are still unbeaten. There's the positives, and we've got to go to Leicester on Sunday and do a really, really good job.
Here and now, we are in third place. We're away to Leicester, who also want to make the top 4 on Sunday. It's going to be squeaky, you know what time, isn't it? At the King Power Stadium.
It is.
On Sunday. But it's finished here. Manchester United 1, West Ham 1.
So they are the thoughts of Stuart and Ben. Well, Danny, what did you make of that performance?
Yeah, I thought it was laboured at times. The one piece of quality that we were looking for at half-time came through Martial and Mason. I mean, the goal was fantastic. But I just thought, it was laboured. I thought the concentration obviously wasn't very high. However, there was the odd moment in time where we showed moments. But I just think the deflation comes from the run of form that we had over the 18 games, showing such a high standard. Everybody wants to see that. We know that if we were playing in that way, then we'd blitz most people, and it's just disappointing that you don't see that again. And I think that's where the deflation comes from. So another Champions League football, but a massive job to do on Sunday.
Yeah, well, we'll get on to Greenwood's goal in just a second. But, Danny, do you reckon there was a little bit of nerves there? They knew how much was at stake. Obviously, it wasn't a must-win game, but, we sort of wanted to get that win. But now we are going into the top 4, and we need to get that win against Leicester. Yeah,
I sort of sensed that from the Southampton game, really. Southampton game was like that. They scored late on. Palace, we did well. There was obviously we were flat on Sunday gone by. And tonight, there was a little bit of an overhang. We were a bit better, showed some better moments, but... it's this point in any season when you've got to sort of nail it, which is the most difficult. It takes the most character, it takes the most courage to go and get on the ball and do the same things, but at the same time you've got to be relaxed when you get on the ball and trust yourself. And I just think there was a few rush passes and it wasn't happening. Bruno probably didn't have his best performance tonight. Well, he didn't have his best performance tonight in a United shirt. However, he's been absolutely brilliant since he's come in. So the problem is, people set such a high standard, you hold them to that standard, and when it doesn't quite go like that, you feel disappointed. But there's always the Leicester game to look forward to, and we've got to make sure we do it.
Yeah, well, someone that did step up to the plate was Mason Greenwood. I mean, what a goal, isn't it? His signature move, the little scissor kick to get it through past goal. It'd be great confidence for him as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he's a revelation. He really is. And when he's on the pitch, whether he's involved in the game a lot or whether he's not, there's any given moment in and around the box he could produce a bit of magic. And for a teenager to score so many goals in the way that he has, and still games to go this season, is absolutely fantastic. But the move was brilliant. The little link up play with Martial, his quick feet inside the box, and his finish. When he lifts his foot back, you think it's a goal.
Yeah, and we saw as well Bruno Fernandes. There was a little bit of an incident with VAR that they could have got a red card, but does that show his fire and his drive to want to win, and maybe a little bit of frustration as well today?
I think the latter. I think a little bit of frustration. Things aren't going your way. And again, I got to roll back to when you're flying and everything's going well, you're sort of running on a bit of a cloud. And I think he was a bit frustrated today. He slipped 3 or 4 times. He didn't quite get the rub of the green. And he's been the one of the people that's been the orchestrator of a lot of the good things we've done since January. So I think he'd have been a bit frustrated. It wasn't all coming off, but it wasn't for the want of effort, because he tried hard.
Right, thanks, Danny. Well, let's head back to the studio then and hear the thoughts of Sully and Dennis Irwin.
Yeah, thanks to Pin and Danny for now. Back with them shortly. They were just chatting about Mason there.
Yeah,
what a goal again from Mason.
What a strike. I mean, the link-up play was fantastic between him and Martial, but you get in that position, and first of all, he's going to hit the target, because you look at what he's done this year already. He very rarely misses going hard, and it gives the keeper no chance. And we needed it. We really needed it. I mean, we did start the second half on a brighter note, on the front foot, and it's probably the only real bit of good football we've played on in the match. We huffed and puffed sometimes, but ran into a brick wall. You'd expect David Moyes' team to be very organised, as they were. Rice was fantastic in front of the back four, as Ben Thornley alluded to. Noble still going, experience out there, but yeah, I mean, there was a lot of ball within that centre of the park, but we just weren't quite at it. But Mason Greenwood, honestly, it was a fantastic strike, and 17 goals, brilliant.
We said at half time that we were watching as Wan-Bissaka was warming up. He came on. What difference did it make having Aaron there, a natural sort of right back?
Well, he's more of a even though he's played most of his career on the right wing, it's just the timing of his runs is better than Timmy, I think. We still weren't in full stride. We still didn't create enough going forward, even down the channels. But he just offers a little bit more going forward, I think, than Timmy. And the manager might explain that, but whether Aaron had a knock or something like that. But listen, we didn't play well. There was too many of our big players. Couldn't really get into the game today. The ones you expect to pull the strings. Danny was saying there, Bruno had one of his quieter games. Paul didn't really get into the game. Marcus had a quiet day. The lad Johnson marked him very well, I got to say that. And they were just difficult to beat. They set themselves up to be difficult to beat, and they played like that. And they got something to hold on to just before half time as well with the penalty. And I said we huffed and puffed, but listen, we got a draw. Take the positives out of what everybody says. We know what we have to do on Sunday, and make sure we go there and defend very well and get that result.
Well, speaking of Sunday, Statman Dave is going to look ahead to that crucial game with Leicester City.
Cheers, Solly. The interesting side with Leicester City through this Premier League campaign is they've now reverted to a back three system with James Maddison picking up a sort of season-ending injury. They were playing a 4-3-3 before that. This back three shape has been exposed on the counter-attack by Tottenham Hotspur, but also Arsenal. Manchester United in this game, if they do go with a 4-2-3-1 shape, the forwards need to play nice and narrow and get onto the centre-backs and then look to make those runs in behind. Arsenal did that really well. Lacazette would come off the line, pull that centre-back, then Saka would spin in behind Soyuncu, and then Aubameyang looking to make that run. Of course, that was one of the goals that Arsenal scored that afternoon. And I think it's an interesting side for Manchester United. I think they've got to control the midfield area. They've got a 3v2 in there. Bruno would like to see again a little bit deeper positioning, potentially picking up the ball in these deep areas like we've seen him do, and then playing forward to the front three. Also out wide, Wan-Bissaka's going to have a big job if he does play. I thought he was fantastic, despite coming off the bench at half-time, made more interceptions and won more tackles than any other player on the pitch. He's going to have to deal with Harvey Barnes if Harvey Barnes plays on the left-hand side for Leicester City, but also push forward as well, dealing with that left wing-back. So it's going to be a big game for Manchester United, but I think it's all about that front three. Mason Greenwood, a man really in form. No teenagers scored more goals for Manchester United, and of course Mason Greenwood grabbed his 17th today. But also some other interesting stats. Man United now have 3 players that have got 10 or more Premier League goals this season. The last time that happened was in the 99-2000 season with, of course, Dwight York, Andy Cole and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. United need to go vertical. They need to play these front players early, look to get in behind the defence, and I think it could be a win for Manchester United. They're my thoughts. Back to you in the studio, Solly.